Welcome to the Walk Talks podcast, a resource produced by Southland Christian Ministries located in Ringgold, Louisiana. Our purpose is to provide you with daily devotions so that you can faithfully grow in your relationship with Christ each and every day. We hope these truths will be an encouragement to you as you hear from God's Word today.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Walk Talks podcast. My name is Dave and I'm delighted to be with you this morning and thank you for tuning in. I'd like to encourage you this morning with a few truths found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. If you'll remember a while back, I had done a podcast from verse number 14, an encouragement for us, an exhortation for us to comfort the feeble-minded and to support the weak. And I'd like to kind of continue along those lines in this podcast this morning in that same verse number 14, in regards to our patience. We are really exhorted in regards to our relationships to one another to be patient towards all men. And I don't know about you, but many times I struggle with patience. But I very rarely struggle with patience towards people who are kind, giving, thankful, grateful, sweet in their disposition, gentle, humble, or generally godly people. Those are not the type of people that I tend to struggle with my patience. I tend to struggle with people who rub me the wrong way, or who perhaps are odd or different, annoying, obstinate, or maybe even my children who are disobedient. And so I don't know if you struggle with me in regards to your patience. And I wondered what it was that maybe made me not be patient. Because I know I am not a very kind person at times, and I can also be a very difficult person to get along with. And so it could be that people struggle to be patient with me. Why is it that we tend to not be patient? And I can only think it's because we have elevated ourselves above another. We've elevated our desires, our wants, our timeline above another. We've elevated our opinion of ourselves above another. We've elevated what we think of ourselves. And I would say that we think of ourselves more highly than we ought to think. And that was a challenge that Paul gave to the Philippians as well, that they would not think of themselves in that regard. And as we can kind of contemplate upon that a little bit, it kind of comes down to pride, that we really think of ourselves as something special. But the challenge that we're given here in verse number 14 of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, we are challenged to be patient. And I don't think there's a Christian out there who would disagree with the necessity of our patience. But I think there might be times when we think that there's exceptions to the law or exceptions to the rule, or that there might be times in which it's okay for us to be impatient. Whether it be that we're driving down the interstate and someone cuts us off and we feel the justification to become impatient. Or maybe we're at a restaurant and our waiter does not bring out our food in time and we feel justified in being impatient. Now, it could be that we have a short timeline and we're not able to stay and wait for our food, and therefore it can be very frustrating. I remember recently we were at a restaurant, we sat down with some friends and we waited and waited. They never came, they never took our order. And because we were in a hurry, we had to get up and leave the restaurant. And I remember feeling the desire to let the hostess know that we were disappointed in their service and maybe even a little impatient in our mind. And I remember feeling the struggle in my own spirit to not let this person feel like we were impatient with them because of our tight timeline. But maybe you found yourself in a situation like that where you feel justified in your impatience. Well, Paul is quick to continue this challenge, this exhortation towards us to be patient towards all men. The assumption here is that we must be patient when the circumstances are not favorable towards patience. That's when the challenge really meets the road. And that is, can we be patient with good and kind people? Absolutely. But can you be patient when circumstances really dictate otherwise? And let me just challenge you this morning, and maybe today you'll have an opportunity for this to be tested. But let me challenge you, as Paul challenged them, to be patient always. Be patient towards everyone. There's not an exclusion here. There's not an out. There's not an opportunity or an excuse for us not to do this today. Be patient always. And there's a few more alwayses that we're going to look in the weeks ahead in some of our other podcasts that we find here in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. And this will be the first one of the non-exclusions, the alwayses. So let me challenge you this morning. Be patient always. Well, I trust the Lord will help you. Endeavor to do that today. Be patient always.
Thanks for listening to the Walk Talks podcast. We trust that what you've heard today has challenged your walk with God. It is our prayer that through this podcast, every listener would strive to become more like Christ and faithfully live for Him each and every day. Join us next time, and God bless.